All right, y'all. Literally just used the bathroom and got a drink of water. And we're back to it. I'm going to try to go a bit faster on this one, but I do want you to see the journey and really realize how much TechnoTutor has made a difference in my life. Because I do use it very consistently. So, month 13, year 2, let's go. So what I realized is my learning capacity went up because I was integrating more words in the list, and that was really cool. I was like, oh wow! I remember I would do these lists, and I would be really bored. Now when I do the list, I really it's hard to explain how I feel. It's so peaceful and so automatic when I do the lists. That's how it always should be. Just so you know. With all the things we do. If you really are good at it. If you really are focused. So yeah, I was so that's the first thing I noticed. And then wow, this is where the changes get even more intense. Oh boy. This is where I started really realizing the difference. Uh-oh. And I say uh-oh ironically, by the way, because it's mind-blowing. It's putting shine in my eyes. Wow, I've come so far. So, first thing I had to do was I wasn't informed if I was getting kicked out of my apartment or if the lease was ending. Okay, no, the lease was ending. No, yeah, it wasn't actually, yeah, no. The lease didn't end. So yeah, okay, so I guess I was getting kicked out of my apartment, but I also knew that he was raising the rent. So I was like, oh, no problem. It was funny, the old me. I'm gonna be real. The old me, I've been kicked out of an apartment before. The old me would go rage mode. I'd be like, how dare you? You're such a piece of shit. Blah 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 blah. Cancel, squash him. I unconsciously just knew. I was like, responsibility, man. Responsibility. Get a new apartment. Success is the best revenge. So I didn't even really bitch and complain. I didn't even bitch and complain this time for getting kicked out of my apartment. And without notice too, Can you imagine that? Literally, someone comes to your door, puts a fucking piece of paper, and you look at that piece of paper, and instead of going straight into negativity, you're like, perfect. I want a new apartment anyways. Let's do this. And I found a new apartment, the best apartment for me, really fast. Which I honestly, self-honestly, bro, I've never done that. My mom would help me with that shit. She'd be like, hey, I found a great... And it was really, really cool. I remember my mom was like, are you looking for apartments? Are you looking for apartments? And I also didn't react to that, too. I used to react to that. I'd be like, why are you fucking riding me? But instead, I was just like, man, she just loves me, and man, are you going to look for apartments? So I was like, I'm going to look for apartments starting on this day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it like TechnoTutor. I'm going to look for apartments and make phone calls for this amount of time every day. It was really good. And one of my New Year's resolutions, and I also believe this is why I attracted the apartment so quickly. One of my New Year's resolutions was to get myself up to 4 days without THC every week. And I knew I knew how to do it. I knew that it's like a staircase. So I started with one day, and that first month, that one day every week was like, oh my God, like the doubt, it was like literally like a cyclone in my head. Like I was like, wow, so this is what's really going on? I'm just spinning in a circle of doubt? At least I could let go of the fear. At least I could know that everything would be all right. And then eventually I'll just get to smoke weed again. But it was like literally like a circle of doubt. I was like, man, I need to master my mind. And this is when I first started. Like just one day, no THC every week. And, I was working on my song abilities. So this is another thing. Releasing my songs. So one song per month with a music video. I made that commitment. And I saw the power of keeping my commitments, so I did my best to keep that commitment as long as I could. Once I started collaborating with others, it wasn't all in my hands, but if it was up to me, I would have still kept that going. And as far as like writing the songs, that was kind of the rhythm I was doing it in, So I still kept, like as far as like writing the songs, like the lyrics for them, I still kept finishing the song within a month because I knew the deadline was going to help me. But I knew the power of commitments. I knew that commitments is responsibility. You want to really like master self-responsibility, you have to keep your commitment. So I was like, all right, one day no THC every week. I know I can do this. And it was very interesting. It was not easy. And there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of doubt when I first started. But I knew it was weird. Yeah, I had enough self-trust to where I'm like, hey man, no matter what you feel, you're just going to smoke weed again. Everything's going to be, you're going to be fine. Like nothing bad is going to happen to you. So that's another thing that happened. I stopped having panic attacks. Really. I stopped having dissociative panic attacks. A dissociative panic attack is when you feel like nothing is real and you curl up. If it gets really bad, you curl up on the floor and you feel like, it's weird. It's like you feel fear but no other emotion. Feel very frozen. And you curl up on the floor and you kind of feel like you're going to die. That's what a dissociative panic attack was. I stopped having that. By the way, also, I was so self-honest already. I was so clear on what I wanted, and I was so clear that I didn't want drugs. Back in 2023, I forgot to tell you all this. I did shrooms, and bruh, I felt like shit off the shrooms. I felt like shit. I felt lonely. I felt disconnected from reality. So then I made that decision too. I'm like, boom, not gonna do psychedelics anymore. I'm done. I've grown up. I get more pleasure from living real life. That was March 2023. So spoiler alert, March 2024, that's a year no psychedelics, baby. I used to literally think that I needed shrooms and acid to quit drugs, to change as a person, to be a happier person. I got news for you. You don't need shrooms, you don't need acid. I can't tell you exactly what you need, but I found that out in my journey, that shrooms and acid never helped me as much as I thought they did. But anyways, so it's January, and this is where I also became much more self-aware, I guess you could say, like, and also really realized that my physical body is my temple and that I only get one. That's part of why I started cutting down on THC, because, you got to smoke it, hits the lungs. It might even hit other organs too. Smoke in your eyes. But I also started noticing something with Adderall. Yeah, wow. I was really amazed at how self-aware I was. So I looked at my music videos and it looks like I'm like emotionally numb, dead inside. And like I just don't have passion and I look like stiff. Like I look like I don't feel anything and I'm not even enjoying the music video that much. I'm just doing it. Yeah, I had no facial expression. I noticed that. So I was like, whoa, dude. Don't do any more music videos on Adderall, bro. That's not cool, bro. Like, people don't want that, bro. Like, this ain't about you anymore. This is about what other people want. People don't want you all like that, bro. So yeah, I was like, wow, don't do it on Adderall. And then also, don't record your vocals on Adderall. That's another thing. Like I really actually started getting really self-aware with how Adderall is. Like, so when you take a 30 milligram, for me at least, there's stuff that happens. There's your muscles clench and they contract hella. Your hands and feet get hella cold. And then you're literally like, and you also look more anemic looking. You look more pale when you take that 30 milligram. And you're also by heater in the winter. I noticed in the winter, my hands would be so cold. You know, MGK says, my fingers burning from the temperatures. Bro, it's probably from a stimulant or you know, neurological damage. Because, yeah, like, it was just so clear. And it was getting more and more clear. Like, I was like, bro, I take this Adderall. And it's like if I don't go on a hike, I'm literally like shivering if I go away from the heater. Even with a hoodie, even with a warm hoodie, I'm like shivering. I'm like, bro, what's going on? And I really realized that I developed something called cold intolerance from Adderall. And that has to do with your blood not flowing correctly. So I was like, there's some decisions to make here. I didn't make the decision yet, but I knew that there would have to be a change soon. Many changes are coming in. Because I also learned how, wow, so Adderall, I take Adderall to be like everybody else, but I'm not like everybody else. I'm Alex. I'm my own person. And when I try to be like everybody else, I lose love for myself. That was huge. I used to praise Adderall. Really. By the way, also in August, I quit nicotine. In 2023, I finally ballsed up and said, these blunts, these cigarettes, they will never make me feel as good as a deep breath. So we're in January 2024, and one day no THC every week, realizing that Adderall is not best. Did the Abilities music video. And then also, on top of that, I added something new into the mix. 2 open mic nights every month. And boy, you think I didn't have doubt? But I said, no, I made a commitment. I'm coming to this open mic night. And watch out, I'm going to be sober as hell. Watch out, I'm going to be sober as hell. Guess what? I only got to go one day no THC. So this is going to be my one day. And you and I actually realized at one point I even started enjoying no THC so much that I didn't realize it, but I did 2 days no THC. I would, do the whole day. Oh yeah, instead of 6 hours sober, I'd go the whole day sober. And I'm like having a blast. I'm like, yeah, and I put the songs into my TechnoTutor integrating one line at a time. Like if you notice, like sometimes when you're trying to do some really fast parts, you'll mumble the words. You won't articulate it perfectly. TechnoTutor helped me a lot with that. Like the day of the show, integrating all the lines. Oh my God. It was like, yeah, like the way I was performing on stage, there's no way I could have done that without TechnoTutor. I'm just going to say it. Because TechnoTutor stabilized me a lot. TechnoTutor taught me how to shut out doubt by just literally following logic. Like literally just, hey man, all you have to do is just do the TechnoTutor. And you know that you're going to kill it at the open mic. And I did, man. It was so cool. And like, yeah, I would like put in like phrases like, you know, Abundant Alex is the star of the show and all this. And like, it was just phenomenal. Like, and I still, to this day, I still see it. When I do open mics, the whole room lights up. The whole room is like, whoa, this is different. This is unlike anything I've heard. Whoa, who is this kid? And that's that TechnoTutor, you know? Because it goes into the physical body. We can talk about that later. All right, so cancel, squash them. I also don't like looking at the time. By the way, if you want to feel better, don't look at the time constantly. That's something else I've learned over the years. So yeah, so 2 open mics in 1 month. A music video again. Sober, 100% though. Like, okay, here, that's the thing. Okay, because see, and I actually integrated the meaning. I defined sober, so I know when I'm on the Adderall. Right now, I'm on the 20 milligram or whatever. And we'll get to that journey too. That's a really cool journey. Like I know that when I don't take anything at all, that's really, actually, you know what? I don't know that, but I'm still learning. I'm still realizing and understanding how powerful that is. When I don't take anything at all, how powerful that is. I never saw that power until then, until a whole year of TechnoTutor. So there's that. Yeah, that's about it. We'll say that's about it for January. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. February. Okay, February. Great. So now we're on February. This is awesome. So, oh my God, you know, TechnoTutor has really made me so much more stable. And that's why I did this testimonial too. It's not just for you, but to also really realize and understand it for myself. To really be certain that TechnoTutor is fire. Hands down, it's fire. It's life-changing. Wow. It changes your vibration. People in the group say resonance, but it really changes your vibration. So here, we'll go with So it's February. I'm writing the lyrics for Accolades. Okay. I'm writing the lyrics for Accolades. I wrote the lyrics for, by the way, when it came to abilities, I mixed abilities in 1 day. Because I knew that if I took too long, I'd get more doubt. Music video, 1 day. Editing the music video, 1 day. Writing the lyrics, I think I wrote the lyrics for abilities in like 9 days. Yeah, after 9 days, I settled down on it. But I really saw that. I was like, okay, so if I do this all in 1 day, I actually feel better about it instead of stretching it out over 2. Yeah, and that's the do it now principle, which was also very integrated into me unconsciously. So it's February, right? So it's February. Yeah, the mixing, like, one day. Maybe I took 3. I don't know. But I just remember like it was getting shorter and shorter, my time. Because I knew that I would feel better and certain if I didn't spend as much time. If I did it all in one day and just said, that's it. So, February, I'm like writing the lyrics for Accolades, and I think I finished the lyrics for Accolades, and then I was on to, how did it happen? I swear I wrote the lyrics for Accolades, and then this happened. So I tracked to this. I take full responsibility. I was being clumsy. I was high when this happened too, by the way. I spilled some water on my computer. Open water bottle on the floor, kicked it over, spilled, and just a bit. All it took was just a bit. I tried my best to wipe it off. Didn't work. The computer stopped working. And at first, I really wanted to go into a gnarly reaction. To be honest, I really wanted to go into a gnarly reaction. But I knew, I was like, dude, whatever you do, like, do anything to not go into this reaction. So I just stuffed my mind with knowledge instead. And I was like, all right. Because I knew, like, I was like, hey, man, like, you're going to get the laptop fixed. Right, you have the money. Right, you have the money. You're going to get the laptop fixed. I know it feels unfair, but you're going to get the laptop fixed. Be patient. And another thing I want to talk about. So, okay, oh man, I left some things out. You see, I left some things out in 2023. This is why I shouldn't be rushing this. So in 2023, I saw really clearly how porn was affecting me. And I didn't want to be affected by porn anymore. So I was like, bruh, I gotta get this canopy blocker. But also at the same time, I was like, man, and I get it. A lot. Cancel, squash them. If you think this is too much information, that's okay. But anyways, yeah, I got this porn blocker, and I had my mom fucking in charge of the porn blocker, because let's be honest, all my other friends, they just weren't as reliable as my mom. Love you, Mom. Love you so much. I hope my mom watches this because she's going to be blown away. She's like, whoa, this is what you get from TechnoTutor? Let's go. Actually, I know my mom will watch this because she's my biggest supporter. Next to myself, of course. I'm my biggest supporter, and then the next one is my mom. Yeah, like, I realized that I needed this porn blocker. And it was very interesting. You know, there is a way around the porn blocker. You just get it on a different device. There are ways around the porn blocker. Which is why I refuse to use one now. You know? And hey, whatever works for you, works for you. Just know that when I took off the porn blocker, boom, I went into full-fledged addiction again. So it's like almost like I never even really learned my lesson. Anyways, I had the porn blocker. And yeah, my mom, bless her heart, you know, like, I was like, hey mom, like, to be honest, I do need the TechnoTutor. Like, I really need the TechnoTutor. I need it. Like, it really helps with my stability. So can I, like, use your laptop? And it was so beautiful. It was like, yeah, it's relationships. It's like, I get it. Right now you could say, oh, your mom is not the best for this agreement because she didn't hold you accountable. But it was pretty beautiful just being like open with my own mother. like just having this level of relationship. TechnoTutor has improved my relationships a lot. So like trying to figure out the best way to phrase this, not non-scripted. None of this is scripted, guys. None of this is scripted. I had 2 scripts and I just said, no, the people need the raw, real stuff, because when you read from a script, people can tell. If they can't tell that you're reading from a script, you worked on it. And I'd rather not take the chance and really have you emotionally feel what I'm saying. So I didn't have the heart. I didn't have the heart to watch porn on my mom's computer. I didn't have the heart to do that. So I just straight up said, like, hey mom, like, to be honest, I've been thinking about getting a device from Best Buy and returning it just so I can watch porn. I've been really close to doing it. Could you please just unblock it on my iPhone for one day and then it's good? Hold up. Before I get into this, I actually want to talk about what happened in January. By the way, yeah, so she unblocked it and, I watched it and then I'm like, all right, it's the same thing over and over. All right, I wasn't missing out on anything. Thank you for letting me understand thank you for letting me relearn my lesson, because I have to learn it. I have to really expose myself enough to really understand that this is junk. This is not best. But what happened in January, too, that I want to talk about, and this is where I actually really reacted a lot. Thanks to the Canopy blocker, I had like 2 months no porn in January. I was almost about to get to 3 months. After you get to 3 months of breaking a habit, it becomes a lifestyle. Yeah, whatever. We'll have the quotes because I read that somewhere, but I've heard it from multiple people and I've seen the difference, especially with alcohol, nicotine, you name it. But after 90 days, it becomes a lifestyle change, TechnoTutor, lifestyle change, And I was so close. And you know what happened? I got a flat tire. And literally like AAA couldn't get me. And like my mom like got me at like 2 a.m. It was raining. And yeah, AAA just couldn't even get me. I don't know why, but man, that's... Oh, you know what? It was the time of night. They just didn't have any drivers available. And I'm like... I need a different insurance. But, yeah, so like... It was interesting. So what I realized is I needed to undo the blocker. I told my mom to undo the blocker so I could access stuff at work. And I'm not going to lie, like, I was kind of tempted to, download some stuff at work. But I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. People are counting on me. My mom is counting on me. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. But then boom, like, and this is how the law of attraction works. Really be careful with focusing on what you don't want. So like, the flat tire and the rain. Yeah, flat tire, rain, can't get home. I'm an hour away from home. It's like past midnight. And I'm just like freezing in a car. Or not like freezing, but like I'm cold. I'm cold, right? I'm cold in the car. All that's keeping me going is the music and I have some THC. And I come home that night. Bless my mom. And it was crazy. I had a feeling that the porn is accessible. So I tried it, and it was so weird. It was blocked on my phone, but not on my laptop. It was so weird. I accessed it, and then right after I was done, the blocker came back on. I was like, huh? Is my mom awake? And I asked her, I'm like, Mom, were you awake? She's like, no. And I'm like, wait, so how did it not work? She's like, I honestly don't know. Must have been a glitch in the system. I'm like, wow. And that's probably where I started to really become self-aware that, dude, the blocker is not gonna fucking get you to quit. The blocker is not gonna get you to quit. I almost had 3 months. I watched it, and the next day, I was suicidal. Like literally, like had suicidal thoughts for the first time in so long. And I realized the effects of porn. I still didn't fully understand it, but I knew that this was porn's doing. My physical body is my temple. And yeah, that was when I really saw that the blocker is not going to stop me. The blocker is not the answer. I didn't want to admit it yet, and the blocker did help, but I was starting to see that. I was starting to realize that truth, you know. Cancel, squash them. So then I went into February. So there we go. So now you know, like, that's how it all went down. So February, I watched the porn again. Same feeling. Dreadful feeling. I was like, no. But I knew that I had to do something about it. Here, we got to go back to January, because there's so much jam-packed in these months. I don't know about y'all. Are y'all months this jam-packed with like changes and shit? I don't, like, let me know, please. Let me know in the comments, because I left this out in January. So in January, I also came to the clear realization. I was certain that I was like, hey, bro, my friends are making a lot of money from these things called sales jobs. Do you want to be broke, or do you want to make money? My voice is getting worn out from this. Wow. It's getting all nasally and nerdy, but I am having fun and I am passionate about this video. I was like, do you want to be broke, or do you want to have money? Because you've been broke for a while, bro. If you want to change, you have to change things in your life. Man, I left out some changes in 2023 too, but it's okay. So many changes. If you want to know about the extra changes in November and December 2023, let me know in the comments. There's just too much to fit in the videos. Okay, so I had resistance to applying to jobs. First of all, my resistance went down. I went down from like 33% of my being resistance to like 25%. Thanks to TechnoTutor. After a year of using it, my fear of change was diminished in a way where it was visibly noticeable. And I felt better. And I had resistance to applying to jobs because I knew I had to get a new job. I knew that this current job I was working was not going to be it. So I knew that I had to apply to jobs and like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And I think when I was sober, I like did my Indeed, I like got my resume together and all that. But then it was very interesting how I did it. So I was like, at first I was like, I want to apply to one job a day. I'm going to get my resume and then I'm going to apply to one job a day. And consistency is key. And it was so funny. I really didn't want to apply to jobs. So you know what I did? I smoked a joint. And I said, I dedicate this joint. I set my intention to this joint. My intention for this joint is applying to jobs. I applied to 10 jobs that day, out of nowhere. Instead of one job a day, like I planned, because sometimes it doesn't go as planned, I applied to 10 jobs because I was feeling good. And I was like, ooh, there's this one that looked really good. And I was like, yeah, give me this one. Like, I could definitely do this. Door to door? Man, that sounds fun, bro. And it was so cool. Like, my friends like, bro, like, you might have to do that in Richmond, Oakland. Like, are you sure you're good with that? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'll do whatever it takes to get the money. So I applied to the job. In February, now we're in February, right? In February, I got the interview. I used TechnoTutor before the interview. And actually, I'm going to start using my TechnoTutor before each interview again. I've been forgetting to do it, but it really helps with your certainty and your communication, your resonance. I put something like, I'm relentless. And then I said that on the interview. And he was like, yeah, we got to have you, man. Like, it seems like you he's like, yeah, like a lot of people wash out. And I'm like, I won't wash out. I'm relentless. I'm hungry. I was wearing the suit or the blazer. And I was like feeling good on the interview. And I completely forgot about the how. Got the job. But let's go chronologically. So before I got that job, I also started to understand how when things don't go as planned, that's your chance to like adapt and to really embrace that uncertainty. Yeah. So yeah, I went there and there was this girl that was sexy. She was the girl I wanted. She went to the gym, obviously, and that was the girl I really wanted. And I presented myself really well to her. I was on like day 25 of semen retention. And I will admit, yes, I relapsed that day. But at least I, got her on the day 25. Let's go. I got her number, I don't know how either. I can't even tell you how I did it. It just happened. I wasn't thinking about the how. It just happened. She just liked me. And what happened is I told her too much. And I learned from this. I learned from this too. I learned that it's not actually about, keeping everything secret. It's more about really understanding if someone has your back or not. You tell them, yeah. So basically I told her like what I'm going through. Like, I'm like, hey, so like this is my thing. Like, I I want to go 4 days without THC every week this year. And right now I'm on 2 days no THC. And I'll tell her how I'm like feeling really good and like I feel really loving because I'm sober. And she liked that, but she was worried about me. She was like, yeah, like, like, you say you have this, you say like, you're like quitting like, I don't know. Yeah, it was really interesting. She just like kind of like worried about me because like, you know what I said? I told her, man, like, I think I'm going to be sober for our get together or date or whatever, Yeah, you know the game. But it was interesting. I said that after she said, yeah, like, let's get a drink for our date. And it was very interesting. I was like, I think I didn't tell her that I didn't want her to get a drink. But basically what happened is I told her about my goals and my dreams. And she just got worried. She just like after I told her like, hey, like, I really want to, I think I'm going to go sober for this date. She's like, I'm worried about you. Like, I was like, and then she just disconnected from me completely. It was just so obvious. She kept saying sorry for not responding, you know how it is. But I learned a lot from that. I did a lot of process on that. But I learned that, yeah, I shouldn't be feeling love for someone like that. I shouldn't be feeling love for someone who's so judgmental and so flighty, Like, think about that. I just told her, hey, yeah, this is my goal. My goal is to, like, maybe I didn't communicate that well enough. I don't know. I'll take responsibility. But, like, my goal is to, be on this date sober with you. And yeah, she was just like, yeah, it's okay for her to get a drink, right? It's okay for her to get a drink on the date, but it's not okay for me to be high, right? Because I have problems. Cancel, squash them. So yeah, she ghosted me. And it hurt. It hurt a lot at first. But I was able to process it like no other. That was the best, because I really wanted that girl. You know when you really want something and you don't get it, especially if it's a person? I really wanted that girl. And I processed it. I took the L so gracefully. I was like, yep, it is what it is. I got mad, but I knew that the longer I hold on, the more pain I'll feel. Letting go. I learned how to let go like a pro. And I got even better at letting go after 2 years. But after 1 year, that's a big difference. I learned how to let go like a pro. What can you do? What else can you do? So then I get my laptop fixed. I actually didn't have the animosity that I expected when I saw her. If anything, I showed her how cool I was. I showed her my vibration. I'm like, yep, I'm the prize. You're missing out. Bye. I'll never see you again. And then back to accolades. And yeah, I did the accolades during the 48 hours no THC when I was recording it. And I was getting really angry, but I still recorded it. So I'm up to 2 days no THC every week. I'm on my way to work. I'm on my way to the job that I didn't want to work. And I get a phone call. And they say, and yeah, you know, like they're asking me like, you know, what time can you come get your laptop for training and all that. And I'm like, wow, so I got the job. I'm like, yeah, you got the, yeah, you know, I didn't really say that because I guess I was certain at the time. I was like, yeah, if you're calling me about training, I got the job. I don't need to confirm with you. But yeah, that was a hell of a good feeling. Honestly, that was the happiest I've ever been while quitting my job. I've quit a job before, but I was not happy. So yeah, and I know why, you know, it's like I did have another job lined up. It was a brand new sales job, but seriously, that was huge. Quitting the job was huge. I did my best to support people at the job as much as I could before I left, but I really knew at that point that I'm a different person. I can't work this job with y'all anymore. I'm out of here. I just changed, you know? And then, yeah, I started the brand new job, the training at the end of February. It was magnificent. And then also there was that responsibility too. I was gonna say that I handled. There was that responsibility too that I handled, where I was like, yeah, like they gave me this equipment, and I'm just like, bro, whatever you do, like don't be like looking at some bullshit on there, you know. And I could handle that. I could handle that responsibility. And because, yeah, like, I knew, I was like, bro, you're better off just asking your mom to undo the fucking blocker than fucking doing that. For real. Because I had to handle that responsibility. So then, yeah, February, you know, accolades. I'm not going to get into the specifics on the mixing and all that. Whatever. Accolades got released with the music video. So that's cool. But then... And I actually shared my music video with my coworkers during training, which was really, really cool. But then March. Whew, March. Okay, March. 3 days no THC. I finally achieved 2 months no junk food, which I've never achieved before. So yeah, I was doing 3 days no THC every week. I knew that I had to make that change to get the money to really be extremely effective at the job. And yeah, it was beautiful. 3 days no THC. Closed my first sale ever. Oh, that feeling. Wow. I can see it so clearly right now. And yeah, it's really thanks to 3 days without THC too. So I was doing the 3 days without THC, and it wasn't easy, you know. Like this is when like I was like, dude, do I need some CBD or something? Because it's hard to sleep. It's hard to sleep. But then I was like, bro, it's just a belief. Like, you got this, bro. You can sleep without it. And honestly, when I tried to do it in the past, it wouldn't work. I had so much trauma that I didn't process. It didn't work. I'd freak out and stay up all night. This time, I was like, I can sleep. This is the first time I could really sleep without THC for the first time in like so long, which is beautiful. So then, yeah, 2 months no junk food, 3 days no THC every week. I recorded the accountability video all by myself. Felt really good doing that. And yeah, I released accountability. I'm trying to think of like one more change in March. I guess in March, I kind of got better at like seeing options in my head. Like when a situation would come up, I would actually see like options in my head, which was awesome. I also became more teachable, and I started listening to a lot more audios. If you want, I can share those audios with you one-on-one. So I started listening to those a lot every morning. I started getting into silence. Oh yeah, I stopped meditation. So at this point, I was also doing 1 day of no TV every week. And also, I quit meditation because I just saw how meditation wasn't serving me anymore. I forgot what month I quit it in, maybe January or February, but I just saw how it wasn't serving me anymore. So yeah. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, just I love seeing the options. Like I was like, yeah, like I don't have to hold on to this belief of needing THC to sleep. I actually understood at that point that not all the time, but sometimes food can taste better when you're sober. Not all the time. It depends on how present and grateful you are. But yeah, I actually started really getting down with that too. I was like, yeah, man, this food goes hard when I'm sober. Did the 2 months no junk food. Okay. April. Bro, I got so much more patient. I got so much better at breathing and like controlling my emotions and feelings at this point. 4 days without THC every week. And oh man, when I first started, it was like, oh, dude, it was hard to handle. It was such a rush. Okay, we'll get to the win. There's a really good win in April. Okay. But yeah, it was really hard to handle at first. Like, it was such a rush. Like, I've been suppressing these emotions for so long. But I handled it. I don't know how. TechnoTutor must have played a part. So yeah, I had the 4 days 4 days without THC every week, just like I said I would do. By the way, I started smoking in 2000. Like officially, I got high for my first time November 2012. So you have to understand, this is 11 plus years of smoking. And I was smoking every day in 2023. It's pretty phenomenal. I was more aware of the phenomenons happening. Like, I was like, wow, like, you really can have a different life. I was making more money than I've ever made, so that's what I'll get into. So, you know what? Yeah, these are the two changes I really like. Oh, by the way, yeah. I think in April is when I took my last 30 milligram. I noticed how it wasn't really helping. It was affecting me. It was having an effect on how I was feeling, for sure. I think it was creating more doubt. So I went down to 20 milligrams in April, for sure. Fire, bruh. Because I was like, yeah, I get it. I still need the pill because, you know, I'm chemically dependent, but I don't need this high dosage, man. That was really cool. But then it's cool after I, you know, went down in that dosage on the pill, some magical stuff really happened. Like, Here we go. Here we go. All right. All right. So I woke up at like 2 a.m. that day because I could feel the money off the radar screen. I could really feel the money. I was in harmony with money. I want to get back in harmony 100. I might be in harmony right now and I don't even realize it. Lots of stuff goes on in the unconscious. I made $1,000 in a day. I made my first $1,000 in a day. My first time making $1,000 in a day. Oh my God, that rush was unlike anything I've ever felt. I was like, whoa. 5 sales in one day. 5 sales in one day. I woke up at 2 a.m. that day. I just wanted it more than you. I just wanted it so bad. And then I got the 1,000 and I felt amazing. I felt like unstoppable. And then I made $5,600 that month. My goal was $6,000, and it was gonna be $6,000 without the chargebacks. But yeah, at the very end, it turned into, $5,600. But still, $5,600, most money I've ever made in a month after 4 days without THC. Coincidence? I think not. So at that point, I really kind of started to see the value. I realized and understood the value of sober. The process, that was a whole process. This whole last year, 2024, was a process of understanding the value of sobriety. But 5,600, and it was like. And by the way, I wasn't going AWOL anymore. This year, I stopped going AWOL. I don't remember why, but I had a feeling that told me, hey, you shouldn't go AWOL anymore. Try the other side of the coin. It was interesting. So then we're in May. Oh yeah, okay. So then I'll tell you. Okay, so at the end of April, I drank. And bruh, I got so lucky. I drank. The next day, did not feel good. Woke up, poured out all the alcohol that I bought. Didn't care about wasting money. I was paying off my debt. Ooh, we're going to get to that. And I drank after 4 months and I said, you know what? This doesn't serve me. So I poured it all out. And I said, all right, taking a long break again. And then what else was there? So, all right, I think that's April. That's all of April, right? I made the money and then I drank. $5,600, $1,000 in a day. But then I got hooked. In May, I was like, man, you know what actually also happened in April? So you know what happened in April? So I told y'all how my mom was paying my rent. $1,980 every month. What happened in April? At the end of April, I was a smart boy. I was paying off my debt, but I also knew how to use my money. I was so clear and so disciplined. I paid my rent 2 months in advance. I paid my rent for May and June. Ooh, it felt hella good in April. So I'm sure you can understand why maybe I would go back to the alcohol. I'm like, whoa, this is a lot of change, man. That 25% resistance, man. Are you sure you want this change? And it's like, yeah, I want it, but I guess I wasn't completely sure. Or I don't know. It's hard to explain. You know what I understood? I understood that the memories are what made me drink. I understood that there's no logic, and really the feelings all come from the memories. In this current reality I'm in, drinking does not feel like it used to. It'll never feel like it used to. Period. But paying my rent a month in advance. Okay, month of May. All right, whatever. I'm just going to spoil it. Month of May. Yeah, we're not going to go chronological all the time. Month of May, I paid off my debt. I was like $3,000 to $5,000 in debt, and I paid it all off. I paid off all my debt. And I read a book on how to pay off the debt too. I was not playing around, but that felt really good, you know. Once again, I wanted the 6,000, 5,600 because of the chargebacks. I actually went higher than 6,000. I actually went all the way up to 6,200, which like really made me feel really good. We'll get into that. So yeah, May, 4 days no THC. Man, the door-to-door, I had the gnarly allergies, but I used breath to like get through the allergies. Like I used breath to like kind of like rearrange my snot. It was so interesting. I was just so adaptable, yeah. I gave my mom TechnoTutor in April, which was really cool. I was like, man, like I'm just gonna like I have an extra copy. I have an extra copy that I'm allowed to share with my family. That's what you can have too if you have family. It's a family tool. So I just, you know, I gave my mom the extra copy. That was really cool. And it was really cool too because she said she'd only use it if I ended up paying the rent. So that was really, really cool. Like, yeah, it wasn't like payback or revenge like I thought it would be. Instead, it was like, Mom, I did it. I proved myself. Like, it's over. I'm prosperous, Mom. May. Okay, so yeah, May. Still doing the 4 days without THC. I guess my emotional stability was way better because like my money was going up. Yeah, emotional stability leads to financial stability. Cancel, squash them. I keep looking at the time. I want to go outside and get that sun before it's gone, but I'll really take my time and tell you everything in these videos. So I feel like there was another change in May. Yeah, whatever. I can't remember the change in May. Okay, so the extra one or whatever. Maybe there wasn't. I don't know. There's a lot of changes. Like I'm trying to really fit them all in here. So then June, right? Okay, so how it was working was at the end of May there was this event again. And then June was kind of like the beginning of the event. So it was very interesting what happened. First of all, this time I actually, yeah. Well, let's talk about this. So we'll call this May and June. So first of all, I paid off the debt. I paid off all the debt. And I was bragging to people. I would show it to them. And you should have seen their reaction because they started thinking, man, I need to pay off my debt, you know? But yeah, I was like kind of like a hero. Like I was like, look, like, the event. So last time I did the edibles, right? This time, and I smelled weed. I could have got myself some weed. Don't get me wrong. I could have got myself some weed. I smelled it. But this time I went 6 days no THC. Record breaking. The longest I've been since 2014. The longest I went in like 10 years, 6 days no THC. And it was pretty hard to handle. There are parts that really got me. I'll tell you, I was screaming in the rain, crying about my pain in my underwear on the balcony. People were knocking on the door like, are you okay? But I handled it. You see? I was like, wow. 6 days no THC. Wow. No drink on the way back home this time. I was like, no way I'm drinking, bro. There's no way. So, huge improvement right there. And then, so this is June, right? This is June. So this is when I really developed self-forgiveness to the next level, honestly. Hell yeah. After almost a year and a half, hell yeah. I came back from the event, and it was a lot on my psyche. You have to take this journey one bite at a time. I went back to smoking weed every day. And I got back on the train, you know. I got back to my 4 days without THC. I got back on it, really consistently. I don't know if it was in June or July, but I really learned how to forgive myself because I really wanted to keep it going. But I realized after 6 days that really kind of overloaded me a bit, and my ego kicked in. So I'm like, okay, be careful, bro. Because if you go a week without it, you might go back to smoking every day for 2 months straight. This is just my journey. Everyone has a different, blueprint, but it's so good that this blueprint actually works for me. Because a lot of people were talking yeah, just quit the weed cold turkey. They didn't understand, bro. Who do you listen to? Yourself. Self-leader. So, I came back. And by the way, at the event, I did indulge in porn again. But I forgave myself at the event. That's what I really loved. I was really, really developing my forgiveness. Because I noticed even though I was on day one and I really didn't want to be, I was like, fuck it. Could be worse. Am I going to sit around and be like, oh, I watched porn again? Or am I just going to go have fun, regardless of my problems? Self-forgiveness. So yeah, I got this cake. I got 2 ice cream cakes. And I went hard with those. But it was cool what I put in there. I put something about Abundant Alex. Yes, put something about Abundant Alex. I forgot what I put, but I also put 30 days of NoFap. Well, now I know. I also call it semen retention because you don't want to focus on what you don't want. But yeah, I put 30 days of NoFap on that cake. We're going to get to that. And yeah, I turned 27. Still releasing the songs consistently, you know. I made $6,200. Even though I fell off on the weed a bit. I'm sure I got back on. Maybe I did 2 weeks that month or something. But yeah, even though I fell off, I made that $6,200 that month. Yeah. Felt hella good, more than I expected. And I'm all right, bro, this is where the big dogs come out. We're going for the 8,000. Okay, here we go. July. Oh, by the way, also, in June, I crashed my car. And I did react a lot to crashing my car. And that's also how I kind of broke my 4-day streak thing that I was doing. But then I forgave myself. And I said, hey, man, it's okay. You're going through a lot of changes. Smoke your weed. It's okay. You're not evil for smoking weed, okay? So, yeah, that's how I got through that month. Because I did crash my car. And I crashed it sober. I was really tired. Man, I was just really tired because I worked so hard. Okay, July. So, July came through. Oof. Okay, July was my peak month, guys. Ooh, after a year and a half of TechnoTutor, I peaked. I financially peaked. So I did understand something. I was like, honestly, this is going to be no joke. Making $8,000 in a month, I've never done it before. So I'm going to need all hands on deck. 22-day AWOL, which is what I'm doing right now. The money's coming. So yeah, 22-day AWOL. Cancel, squash them. I keep looking at the time, man. You'll go on a hike, man. So, 22-day AWOL. Out of nowhere. I just knew that I had to do it. My coworkers were hitting me up the wazoo. Hell of stuff going on in the Teams chat. And I was like, bruh, I gotta focus. And guess what? You can't say anything about me ignoring my coworkers because I was one of the top earners. I was in the top 5. For a few months in a row, I was in the top 5 or top 10 of my company. And yeah, I just saw that. I was like, bro, every time I like react to your stuff and give you a heart emoji, I'm losing focus. So I just silenced the notifications and really got my head focused. Hella good focus. 4 days no THC. And I even did this 1-day music cleanse. Ooh, 1-day music cleanse too. Fire, bruh. We'll get into the music cleanse. So yeah, basically I couldn't listen to music for 24 hours. And I made this decision at the Self-Perfected event. But yeah, I couldn't listen to music for 24 hours just to see how I could cope, you know? Because I saw that. I was like, maybe I'm suppressing. So I did that. 1-day music cleanse, no music. And then also the 4 days without THC. I made $7,150 that month. Didn't get my 8,000, but I got really close. And keep in mind, this $7,150, I wonder, oh, it was with the new commission structure. Yeah, so that's another thing. I got a bigger commission too. I don't know if you've ever had that where you get a raise without trying. Yeah, that's what I call working for a really good company. But yeah, so it was a new commission structure, and that's definitely out. But yeah, because there was those chargebacks. But yeah, $7,150 in a month. Most money I've ever made in my entire life. And I started making $1,000 in a day consistently. That's how I got there. Really consistent in July. Really focused. Really clear-headed. Really disciplined. Alright. So then we go on to... Okay. So yeah, then at the end of July, it's interesting. Even though I made hella money, I was very curious about this sales course. So then I was like, okay. So I actually invested $2,493 into a sales course. I paid it in full. Bruh. Oh my God, the fear, I had fear. The rush I got from that was like intense. I was like, wow, like, I never invested that much. But then I really saw how powerful I'd become. I saw how my debt was, then I, went back into debt. And then there's a debate on whether if that was credit or debt. We're going to find out. But, yeah, it was really cool. Making that investment and like pushing through that fear. Wow. Like fear, like I'm freaking out. And I was freaking out for like 2 or 3 days after I bought it. I hella wanted to return it. I was like, nah. When you make a decision, you stick with it. And yeah, so there's that. So then August. All right, I'm not going to blame the sales course, but I would say this one's more coincidental. Just too many changes. This is where I learned. This is where I actually learned, don't do too many changes. And all right, yeah, I'm going to there's gonna have to be a 3-part video. Oh boy. So yeah, I really learned, like, don't do too many changes, because I started getting greedy with the change. You know, in July, when I made that $7,150, I got down to 15 milligrams of Adderall. I was at 20 in June, then to 15 in July, and then I was like, all right, soon I'm going to go down to 10. We're going to talk about this. This is where it all hit me. Chargebacks up the wazoo. There wasn't much I could do about it. But what I mean by chargeback is you got paid $250, and now that $250 is getting taken out of your paycheck. Real shit right there. Real building a business experience. And then, man, yeah, the chargeback rate just kept going up. But basically, yeah, and let's talk about the changes. Let's talk about what I do want. Cancel, squash them. So, it was 2-day music cleanse now. 48 hours, no music at all. I was like, woo, boy, this is, man. Let's see how I handle this, you know? And then, yeah, I fell off the 4 days without THC because I was lowering the Adderall. So what happened is basically I would take the 10 milligram, doing the sales course and the TechnoTutor in the morning. I overextended myself probably. And yeah, I would just cry. I would cry, and I had crippling doubt, and I couldn't even force myself to go to work. So I'm like, all right, I've met my maker. So I have to go back to the 20 milligrams of Adderall. Got it. Wah. I was really dedicated. I was like really confident. I was like, yeah, I'm going to quit Adderall. Yeah. But like I said, don't overtax yourself. I learned that. Yeah. Honestly, August was where it all kind of started changing. You could say going downhill, but that's just judgment. But yeah, that's where some changes started happening. So like, started going to work less. I started, enjoying my time freedom, which I never had before. I get that, that was cool. Like, cause yeah, I had so much money stacked up. I could pay the rent. Like, it was phenomenal, guys. Like, being able to pay the rent like that and have so much money left over. I was like, do I really have to go to work? And I got that taste of what it's like to be really successful. And I want that again. And you're going to get that again, really. If you're teachable, yeah, you're going to get it. So, yeah, I started going on Facebook dating. And yeah, it just wasn't best. That's where I started kind of going downhill. Like, I was still changing hella, and I did forgive myself, but I tried the meaningless sex again, and guess what happened? Yeah, that's right. I wanted to support the girl, right? This time I actually wanted to support the woman, but I realized that the starting point was sex, and it wasn't actually supporting the person. So it didn't work out. But at least I saw through that, And I did offer them, offer them the help. But they had sales resistance. Oh yes, that's another thing. I did something very courageous in July. I also opened up a school group, which is, supporting others. Whoa, you're strong enough to support others? Yeah, man, apparently. So that was really ballsy and cool. Okay, so August. So yeah, in August, I'm still trying to build the school group. I forgot when I got my first member in the school group. It's called Abundance Club. It's coming back again in 2026, or maybe at the end of 2025. We'll see. There has to be more of a need for it. But yeah, that was really cool, you know, taking that risk, like spending 100 and being like, I'm gonna make this back. I don't know how. But all right, y'all, we're gonna cut the video up. So yeah, if you want to keep going, part 3 is coming.